All right. Welcome. Happy Lonely Friday, everybody. Welcome to the loneliest show on the internet, the loneliest name in late night, a show so lonely you could only do it on a Friday night. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. Hope everybody has had a fantastic week. Hope everybody is looking forward to a great weekend. I see you already. Big J21 trying to watch Dune after this show. Good. I'm glad you got your priorities straight. Before you're going in, make sure your priorities are straight and you've already hit like. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you want to contribute to the show tonight, super chat in. Every super chat gets read. It's the only rule of Sam Roberts Now. And just know, the super chats are even more important than usual because there is no hot dog on the show tonight. A lot of people, quite frankly, will be celebrating. I can't remember a time that I've gone through a show where somebody hasn't commented something negative about hot dogs. So, all right, let's see how you do without him. No hot dog tonight, but there's still so much to cover. You know, I haven't watched Dune. I don't have a Zune, and I haven't watched Dune. Apologies to Timothy Chalamet, but I've got other things on my mind right now. I'm sure he'll make a great Wonka. Not as good as Gene Wilder, but also somewhere up in heaven right now, Gene Wilder is probably thinking, it's really nice that people thought that when I was a very young man, I look like Timothy Chalamet. Not bad news. If anybody is going to play the younger version of the character that you played, Timothy Chalamet is probably a good choice. I don't think that they'll do Timothy Chalamet when they do Sam Roberts the early years. When they go Sam Roberts, the Syracuse student, Sam Roberts, the radio intern, Sam Roberts, Scorch's #1 intern. I don't know if it's going to be Timothy Chalamet in there playing me, but if it were, whether I was alive or dead, I would have known that I left a handsome legacy. So it's a positive thing. A lot of dark news, a lot of death news, and some of it I think should be getting a little bit more coverage, but because of the world that we live in, it's tough. It's tough even in death to get the proper amount of headline space that you deserve. So we'll do it here. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to young Peter Scolari. Peter Scolari passed away. He's only like 60-something. Peter Scolari passed away, and here's the real shame with Peter Scolari. This guy had as successful a career as anybody could hope to have in acting. As far as, I guess more of a character actor, you know, but he's one of these guys that popped up in everything. You see his face, and you're like, I know that guy. He played the dad on Girls. He was on one of Bob Newhart's show. I can't say with certainty which one, but he was definitely on one of them, and they were both pretty good. He was in That Thing You Do. He was in the fabulous film Ticks, but that's not what people are talking about. People are like, you know, the other bosom buddy. In any other planet, on any other sitcom, Peter Scolari would be looked at, I believe, as mold-breaking success. Most of the time, you get success on a sitcom, you do not go on to have a tremendously huge and varied career in television and motion picture. Peter Scolari did that. But you know who did it on a much higher level? The other bosom buddy, Tom Hanks. When Tom Hanks dies, they won't say Tom Hanks, the bosom buddy. They'll go Forrest Gump. They'll go that guy that you read all that weird stuff about on the internet. That Thing You Do. I mean, he was in That Thing You Do, Peter. And that's part of it, right? People, I'm like, he's in That Thing You Do. And they're like, yeah, because he got hooked up from his bosom buddy. And I'm like, maybe. Yeah, Tom Hanks did write and direct that movie. But look, Peter Scolari, the point is not getting the respect that he's due, okay? Look at his resume. Speaks for itself. Yeah, he was the other bosom buddy, but he was a lot more than that, okay? So respect to Peter Scolari. Put respect on his name. He was famous in the 70s and 80s. He was famous to me in the 90s and the 2000s, too. I don't know if he was famous in the 70s. I don't know that Peter Scolari was all that famous in the 70s, but maybe he was. I don't know. I wasn't around for it. I can't speak on that. All I can do is read what's in the books, and who knows? But if you read most of the obituaries, it's the other bosom buddy. So I wanted to make sure that we gave him his respect. I wanted to make sure we put it on his name here tonight on Sam Roberts Now, and that's what we're doing. Of course, it's difficult to get into detail about this because most of the news sources are far busier focusing on this crazy, tragic story. I guess Alec Baldwin is filming this movie in New Mexico called Rust. And it's like an 1800s, I don't know, cowboy movie or something. They're in the Old West, though. And he's got this scene where he's shooting somebody. And it's insane to me that this is happening. Honestly, that this would ever have happened. And this isn't the first time it's happened on a movie set. I mean, it's rare. But the fact that it's even happened once is insane. It seems so avoidable. Guy hands him a gun, I guess the assistant director, because now, you're going through all the stories and they're getting every single detail of what happened here because there is so much legality to this. I mean, a person died unnecessarily. Every detail is getting hammered out, and you can already see where it's sort of being shifted, A lot of articles are making a point to specifically say, well, the assistant director, the old AD over there, handed Alec Baldwin the gun and said, no problem with this gun here. Definitely not going to kill anybody with this gun. We're making a fake movie after all. And so, immediately, the assistant director has got to be reading that just with his stomach sunk. Like, oh no, this is bad. Because Alec Baldwin fires this movie gun, and somehow there's a live round in it, and somehow it goes through two people. He kills this woman named Helena Hutchins, who is the cinematographer, a very well-respected cinematographer. A lot of people in Hollywood today sending out tweets and whatnot about her and trying to get some coverage on her name. And then also injures the director, Joel Souza. One shot goes through both people in a gun that was meant for a scene in a movie. What? It's such a weird story. Two people, first of all, in real life, who's got a shot like that? But more specifically, I'm sitting there going on what planet are you making a movie and thinking to yourself, well, there's a shooting scene in this movie. We'll use a real gun. We'll just use blanks, but obviously we should use a real gun. Why would you need to use a real gun? Why would any movie need a real gun? At this point, do you even need a fake gun? Can't you just CGI a gun in? But why, of all the things that are real on a movie set, they don't even use real food, okay? I've been to a commercial shoot for food. I went to a KFC commercial shoot, okay? And I watched the food that was being filmed for the commercial. It was not real KFC food. First of all, and this blew my mind, it's tiny. The food that they made for the commercial shoot to look like KFC food, it's like a quarter of the size of actual KFC, and they just zoom in real tight and use forced perspective so that you can't tell it's little. I don't know why they make it little, but they make it little. And then, and it's all sprayed with all kinds of stuff. There's chemicals on it to make it look like there's steam coming up so that you can shoot it for hours and hours and hours, and it looks like it's fresh out of the oven and delicious. They're painting the details on and everything. It's not real. I remember when we broke for lunch. It was like, well, KFC's sending food for lunch. And I'm like, well, we got KFC. We've been shooting it all day. They're like, you can't eat that stuff. That's crazy. Why would we use real food? It's a commercial shoot for food. I've seen movies with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs have been extinct for so long. Everybody talks about how great this Jurassic Park movie is. I watched Jurassic Park. You know what? It's fabulous. Made me scared of Tyrannosaurus Rexes. Of all the things to be afraid of in this world, a Tyrannosaurus Rex is absurd. They've been extinct longer than humans have been alive. But Jurassic Park was so scary, it made you go like, oh shit, what would I do if there was a velociraptor after me? What would I do if a velociraptor was chasing me? It's literally impossible. But I saw that velociraptor chase after Newman and thought to myself, this is 1993. And they had the technology to allow me to suspend my disbelief long enough that I live in a world where dinosaurs are real. They've done 2 movies, at least, probably more, about 9/11. They've done 9/11 in multiple movies. And never once did they actually have to redo 9/11. Never. They did 9/11 happen that one time, and they never redid it, even though it's in multiple movies. The Sully movie. Sully, Tom Hanks, back to Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, Sully, landed that Sully plane in the middle of the Hudson River like 9 times in that movie. Guess what? There was never any reports of anybody, Tom Hanks or otherwise, landing a plane in the middle of the Hudson River after Sully, let alone 9 times. You know why? Because they faked it. Because it's a movie. There's no reason for any of it. I love that movie, Scream. It's great. I seen a guy just stabbing people and stabbing people and stabbing people. He doesn't really stab them. Freddy Krueger's gloves aren't going to cut anybody. I watched The Purge Forever last night. Little heavy-handed, a little much. You know, I don't need you to slip messages into these movies that are not designed for the most intelligent people anyway. However, I watched that Purge Forever movie. I seen a man blow up a police car with a bazooka, okay? I watched a civilian driving a tank around because it's now the Purge Forever. And guess what? I mean, the tank was probably real, but the bazooka wasn't. And I doubt that the tank could still fire. My point is that there's no way. I watched the Facebook movie. The Facebook movie. And when you're sitting there and you're watching these guys, right? And they're supposed to be at, Harvard? You know, they're supposed to be in Boston in the middle of the winter. And they're outside the fraternity house. And they're talking, and Mark Zuckerberg's like, I got this idea for Facebook. What we'll do is we'll connect everybody, and college kids will make it easier to date, and then in a few years, we'll make people crazy and think that the government is trying to kill them. Then they'll never leave our website. What do you think, Eduardo? And Eduardo was like, well, I just got this punch card. And Zuckerberg is like, are you listening to me? Point is, while they were talking, there was like smoke, like fog, like coming out of their mouth. Like, you know when it's really cold and the wind is coming out of your mouth? That was coming out of their mouth. Guess what? They didn't actually shoot it in the winter. They added all that breath in CGI. And you mean to tell me that after the Crow got killed, again, and we're going back to 93, the Crow, Brandon Lee, got killed because they had a real gun full of blanks, but there was one live round that was still in the barrel or whatever. And the star of the movie ends up getting killed because they used a real gun and there's just a malfunction. You know how you make it impossible for actors not to die on a set? Don't use real guns. There's absolutely no reason to. It's the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. It's the first thing I think about. Now you got this poor woman who she's got a family, and the family's got to sit there and realize that they've lost a loved one for the most useless reason of all time. I mean, I can't think of a death that just has less of a reason for happening. Alec Baldwin has to walk around knowing he killed somebody forever. That shit don't go away. That's the type of thing that wakes you up in the middle of the night with the sweats forever. And by the way, he spent so long getting people on the internet to hate him because he's so public about his opinions that they're all just fucking roasting him about this thing that's going to haunt his psychological brain for the rest of eternity. And why? Well, we want the movie to look real. We got to use real guns. It's so stupid. So stupid. And then this tweet comes out. Alec Baldwin I guess a couple years ago, the tweet says, "I wonder how it must feel to wrongfully kill someone." That's what Alec Baldwin's tweet said. When was this? 2000. Oh, it doesn't say it on this image that I have. I think it was like 10 years ago or something like that. Maybe less. I don't know. Yeah, it's ironic. Yeah, you don't want talk about not aging well. Tweet ages like milk, but I just don't understand for the life of me who goes like, well, yeah, of course. I mean, he probably wasn't even wearing a cowboy hat that was authentic to the time. I didn't see the hat. I can't comment on the hat. I don't know. But that would be my guess. And so now they're going to, I get, now they're going to figure it out from here, but it's not like anybody. And then, you see these like headlines that go like it's breaking news. Alec Baldwin didn't know there was live ammunition in the gun. You're like, oh, I'm glad you cleared that up. I thought maybe he did. Maybe there's live ammunition in here, right? It's got to feel real. Like, obviously. Obviously, how badly do you need multiple Alec Baldwin articles today? Obviously, he didn't think that. But whatever. So that's what Alec Baldwin and the Hutchins family and everybody on that movie said is going to be traumatized from this. But at least the action scenes don't look real. That's important too. I wonder if they use real guns on John Wick. Because they use tons of them. Tons of them. Like, do you think they use real ninja stars? Probably not. At least there was something to bring some joy to our lives this week. I'm talking about the rise of the Island Boys. I didn't know these guys. I didn't know these fellas. Later to find out that their names are Fly Soldier and Kodiak Red, or Kodiak Red. Yeah, Kodiak Red. They're twins. Fraternal twins. Kind of like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Fly Soldier and Kodiak Red. Believe it or not, they're from Florida. Wouldn't have thought. And they sat by the pool. And they busted out a little jam for us that I don't think they realized would become an anthem. I mean, you're going to see this thing on New Year's Eve countdown specials. It's a moment in our culture. It's the Island Boys. Listen to it. This is what penetrated culture this week.
Cause I'm an island boy.
Yeah, you
and
are.
I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm gonna get key white wine. You're gonna keep that gun. I'll be just staring at the sun. I'm just out fool gazing. I'm like, pool where I'm staying. They're like, you wanna be famous? I'm trying to be out the greatest. I'm a Florida boy. I get a real damn tropic. I'm like the damn on the topic. I'm an island boy. Put my vest on, yeah, like a wild.
There is a lot of autobiography in this song. I mean, I didn't know, you got to listen to it a few times, but they mentioned their Florida boys in it. Trying to be famous. That's all. That's what they want, and they're getting there. Everybody knows them now. Island Boys. Florida's not an island, by the way. It's a peninsula, but, I'm not sitting here trying to ruin their fun.
Wagwan man, trying to make it to the top. I'm an island boy, I've been trying to make it. I ain't seen it with a gang slang. You ain't just saying no kind. And through the storm, through the rain. Cause we try home like a line.
If I had so these guys are only 20. And all I could think about was looking at their heads. And it looks like, at least this is, I want to say this is Kodiak Red. I believe the one behind him is Soulja Boy. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. I could be wrong. But he's got his hairline tattooed, it looks like. There appears to be a line around his hairline that's tattooed on. And not to, make his hairline look stronger, but just to outline his face permanently. And man, if I had done that at 20, I'd be screwed now. I'd be in a real pickle. And let me tell you something. I'd look silly. That's the problem.
From the island boy, from the Caribbean.
I don't know that they're from the Caribbean.
I'm an island boy, put my vest on ya.
Okay, that's, I guess, where it ends. I'm assuming he means his bulletproof vest, because if you got a torso like that covered in tattoos, I'm not covering it with any vest, unless I have to do it for my own protection. And I believe that that's what they're talking about. They busted onto the scene this week. That looks like the same pool. That L-shaped pool that's in the background of this photo. So I guess that's their house. I see a big inflatable in there. Doesn't seem like it's the type of pool that requires an inflatable, because the inflatable seems to take up the majority of the pool. All that said, it's not to say that the pool is inexpensive, because if you look at, I think it's Kodiak Red's left hand there. It's full of money. It's full of cash. And I don't know why they're trying to be famous. Because if you've got all that money, I guess fame is very intoxicating. I don't know. But these two guys, I guess, have been, they've been at it for probably about a year. I think people kind of did some research into them. And they got on SoundCloud and started trying to be musicians in 2020. So, after a year of hard work, it's only right that it finally pays off. But these guys, so I'm watching these guys, and as soon as it's posted and I start seeing the video multiple times in the same day, I was like, okay, this is the thing. And you're watching it, and of course, every instinct in you is to hate it. From the ridiculous hair to the face tattoos, to everything about it. The accents, island boys on a peninsula, trying to make it. They're not doing anything. It's a small pool. It's fairly dirty. It's what is this? But then you start humming along. And you're like, okay, it is in my head. Then you start appreciating it on an ironic level. And that's when you're finished. Because the fact is that we are living in a period of time where ironic appreciation, there is no separation between ironic appreciation and actual appreciation. I've watched it happen a million times before. People start by appreciating it ironically, and then eventually get to this place where they're like, oh, no, I actually like it. I forgot that I started liking it ironically. The other thing is, this goes right into my meme theory, that everything is memes. It's literally all that matters. It's everything. Everything is decided by these memes, So what's the difference? There's no real celebrity versus internet celebrity. There's no internet famous versus real famous. It's just all one thing. Are you really going to walk up to somebody and be like, well, the Island Boys may have a big song on the internet, but you tell me when it's on the radio. The radio? You kidding me? Trying to be famous. Everybody knows the song. I don't even think it's a real song. I think they're just something it's just a little ditty they jammed out humming around the pool. But now it's a real song. And yeah, they're meme famous, but that's the same thing as anything else. We elected a president mainly because of memes. Television shows get popular because of memes. Movies get popular because of memes. It's the reason The Simpsons stays popular is because The Simpsons transfers into meme world very, very well. The Office stays popular because Steve Carell made funny faces, and so did Dwight, and you can send those to your friends in the form of a GIF. Who is not trying to send this little video around to people? Whether you know about it or not. And then I started looking into them. I said, "Are these guys the real deal? What's their thing?" And yeah, look, they've been in juvie since they were in and out of juvie since they were 13. There's a ton of mugshots, and I was watching them. Ironically, I guess they were starting to build a following on TikTok before this song came out, and me and everybody else found out about them because they did the No Jumper podcast 2 weeks ago. a week ago, maybe, before this song came out. And they were talking all this shit about their story. And just the fact that they were doing that, it's like, talk about being ahead of the curve. Listen to some of this.
Okay, I thought about this one. I was like, that was a good question.
No, he's not even killing you, but like just that something weird might happen.
Like,
Like, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, set me up because he wanted to link up right away.
Right.
And then what's it called? And I'm like, why is he hitting me up? You know what I mean? And then what's it called? I've done business with his.
So you can see they do. I mean, they've got a vernacular. They've got a speech pattern, but it's not quite as Caribbean infused as the music was. But that's okay. Maybe that's just how they sing, you know? They're British musicians that sound American when they sing. What's the difference? What's the difference? If you want to sing about being an island boy, you should sound like an island boy. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's the way to go.
His homeboy, like Wizard,
that's
the
why,
Wizard in them.
That's why.
That's a piece to Wiz,
Look,
yeah.
that's why
I'm not gonna talk about what business we did together, but I kind of did some green stuff. But I told Kodak about it. He goes, "I ain't even tripping." They know who my brother was locked up with.
Oh.
He asked someone.
Maybe I got it wrong.
They know Kodak person.
Oh.
Like now, you feel me? And they say, yeah, he be with his lawyer about like 80% of the time.
Oh, maybe
he's not.
I think they're talking about a different Kodak, not Kodiak.
He's chilling.
Uh-huh.
I think that's Fly Soldier. I think, and it's with two Y's too and a J. I think that the one in the red is Fly Soldier. I think, but again, I'm not positive.
Came out of jail. He's paranoid. He don't want to go to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
he got pardoned by Trump. He's chilling.
Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So
he got blessed.
He's trying to.
Oh
change,
yeah, they're talking
bro.
about Kodak Black.
Like for the better. He's not trying to be a thug in the streets.
Good.
And stuff like that. Even though.
He's got the image, but you know you feel me? You know it's time.
I do.
He's trying to go up
That's interesting.
because YoungBoy is up.
He sees.
Yeah. I like that. On No Jumper too, they'll just be like, "Oh yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about." I'd love to have these guys in studio. I mean, watching them blow up like this, I don't know. I mean, there's just some. I feel maybe it's because I don't mind everything getting ruined. Like I feel like we never really recovered from nu metal, and the fact that this is like being celebrated. It's like, all right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's celebrate with the Island Boys, Let's just embrace all of this. Everything. Why not? What have we got to lose? What if this was the picture of success? Why not be there, huh? What if this is what it looked like to make it? Try to make it. What if this is what I just turned around and looked at it and I questioned my own logic. What if this is what it looks like to meet your goals? I saw in the No Jumper thing, they were like, look, we were in this pickle. Well, they didn't call it a pickle, but they said that, it was, they got out of jail and it was like, look, are we going to be drug dealers or are we going to be rappers? And so they said they took the more positive route. That they wanted to take on a more positive approach with this whole thing. And it was almost like, good for you guys. You're doing the sensible thing. He's just sitting there with his blue and yellow umbrella with his crazy ass hair. I like that they matched their clothes. I like that they put some thought into the aesthetic of the group. They are trying to make it. Like, they're not lying about that. They're doing everything that they can. Frank says, do their jackets say tax the rich? Well, maybe. Maybe they wouldn't mind paying their fair share. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm here for it, man. The more ridiculous, the better. I'm good with it. You know what made me really excited today? Not that. This. I mean, when you think about how everything has moved and the world that we're living in and everything. And this news comes out today, and you realize that thanks to a series of fortunate events, Bill Burr is getting his own action figure. Yes, Bill Burr was on the Mandalorian, the Star Wars series on Disney Plus. I didn't watch it. Everybody says it's great. I should watch it, but I did not watch it. I'm not. I'll watch like the original Star Wars trilogy, and then I don't know. I think just because I wasn't into the prequels, I think I saw the first. I think I saw the first Star Wars movie in the second set of in the sequel. I guess the third trilogy, right? They made the trilogy, then a prequel trilogy, then a sequel trilogy. I think I saw the first movie in the sequel trilogy, and I saw that one standalone movie with Oscar Isaac. But beyond that, when they started putting out Star Wars movies every year, I was like, I've already tapped out on Marvel. I can't be going to Star Wars movies every year. So I have not watched The Mandalorian. But I do get happy when Bill Burr succeeds. He's somebody whose success makes me happy. So to see that face on a Star Wars action figure is just the most mind-blowing thing ever. It makes me want to go out. I don't know when it's coming out, but it makes me want to go out and get a whole bunch of them and just make like, a little custom, like, pop off Jushin Thunder Liger's head and put Bill Burr's head on it. Make a Bill Burr Jushin Thunder Liger. There's so many different possibilities with this thing. Now that there's just a little plastic Bill Burr action figure head in existence, I hope they do Rich Voss next. I mean, it's great. I see John Doe says, all I can hear when I see that is, Jesus, Joe. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the guy that, who knows where you know him from, but you might know him from Uninformed with Joe DeRosa. And now he's got an action figure, a legit action figure. Not like an action figure that they've made 15 of, like a person, a Kickstarter could pay $200 for, but like Bill Burr is going to be on the shelf at Target. You're going to go into the toy section at Target, and Bill Burr's face is going to be on an action figure. How fantastic is that? How much fun is that? He comes with that gun. I wonder if that's real. Probably not. Probably wasn't real on the set either. I wonder if he gets to keep that shirt from the set. I mean, that's so cool. I feel like I would want to do, if I'm Bill Burr, I would want to do projects like this just to get, like, the fact that he's in action figure world, right? It's one thing, like, when you're watching a guy who you used to watch just come on the radio all the time, and then he gets podcast famous, like his podcast blows up. And then he gets stand-up famous, like he's arena stand-up famous. Like he's going to Madison Square Garden. He's going to whatever the Boston Garden is called now, TD Bank Center maybe. He's playing arenas now. And you're like, oh, he's this kind of famous. And he starts popping up on shows. You see him on Breaking Bad. And it's like, oh, it's cool that he got that. But then he starts to become TV movie famous, right? And then he starts popping up in The Heat. Then oh my God. And then the newspapers start making up rumors about him, lying about him, like dating Sandra Bullock and stuff like that. And you're like, holy shit. This is like a thing that they do to like real celebrities. This is a thing that they do to big movie stars. Not the guy that used to just come in and do radio 3 times a week. And you're like, oh my God, I think that this is a thing that's happening to him. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to be in The Mandalorian. And you're like, I don't know anybody that's in The Mandalorian. That's not a thing that happens. That's not a show that anybody that you know is in. Boba Fett's in that show. You don't know anybody on that show. And then you realize, yeah, because you don't know anybody who's action figure famous. Christopher Cavey just chimed in with a super chat. Every super chat gets read here on Sam Roberts Now. Sam, where's your and Jim's action figures? I mean, if they made a line of bar rescue toys, I'm sure we would get in there. Taffer's been hitting us up about doing something else. So hopefully, with a little button on the back that I say Amberback on it. And Jim just says it didn't taste fresh. But that would be one of those, like, they'll make 10 of them and you have to pay a premium. Not action figure famous Bill Burr on a Target shelf. I mean, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's so weird. But this is life. Weird shit happens. It's so great. I'll tell you, man. Today, and I've talked about this before, There's two things that I'm looking for. Number one, I want the Island Boys to come on and do the show, right? I want to have the Island Boys on the podcast, the YouTube show, whatever this thing is. Sam Roberts now. I want the Island Boys here because I'm trying to make it. I think I need to get some kind of Jersey Mike sponsorship because I've been going there a lot to the point where, like, I mean, it's kind of far away from my house. It's a drive. Like, I have to look at what's going on in the day and go, like, do I have a chunk of time that I can go back and forth? Because their goddamn chicken cheesesteaks and buffalo chicken sandwiches are so good. And this is not an ad, and it's not paid or anything. It's one of those meals that you have, and then you digest, and then you immediately think, I should have that meal again. I just love it. And you go to the store, and, like, they have fountain soda, but it's fountain Pepsi. And there's not that many places that have fountain Pepsi, right? Most of the time at a restaurant, it's Coke in the soda machine. McDonald's, Chipotle, Burger King. But the only places that really have Pepsi like that are Taco Bell and Jersey Mike's. And so it's an exciting treat for me. I absolutely love it. I'm trying to get that Jersey Mike's endorsement deal. I'm trying to get that Jersey Mike sponsorship. Maybe throw a Jersey Mike sign under the Not Sam sign behind me. Something like that. Because I think it's time. But I saw this story. And this kid has since, well, he's deleted all these videos because I guess this story got bigger than him. But he was, I don't know why. He was trying to get clout. He was making ridiculous shit for clout. And then when he actually got views, he got scared and deleted some stuff. But, you know, obviously the internet's forever. This is a Subway employee, competitor to Jersey Mike's, that, well, he did things that were described by some publications as shocking. So here he is. There's his Subway logo. He's obviously in a Subway. Okay, he's put down all the trays of meats and condiments and toppings. I think I saw peppers in there. I think I saw raw bacon in there. And he is walking on everything. He's walking from tray to tray. I can't tell if those are socks or it looks like, I don't know, man. It looks like his sneakers might be wrapped in those, like, hospital doily things that you put on your feet. If you're going into the emergency room and you're wearing sneakers, you have to put the, the elastic things over your feet. So it looks like he's got those on, which if he does, I don't know. I mean, he's smushing everything, but if those things are sterile, what's he really doing? There he goes. He's walking on them. Those are meats. That looks like salami. What do we got there? A little shredded lettuce, maybe a little spinach. Oh, no, he's just wearing white shoes. Oh, boy. Tomatoes go back in. Spinach goes back in. Lettuce going back in. Oh, you walked on all of that. That looks like turkey. That's the problem. You can't even really tell what it is. I don't know what the hell that is. Can't tell. That looks like chicken. I think that's chicken. I don't know what that is either. But he walked on everything, and then, oh my God. And then he did it. He put all the sandwich fixins all over the toilet floor and the toilet seat. That's disgusting. Look at all those cold cuts. Oh, it's not even the toilet seat. He didn't even put it on the toilet seat. He put it on the ledge of the toilet where all the piss collects. That's the grossest part. That's the part that doesn't get cleaned because you just put the toilet seat down over it and nobody notices it. Oh, gross. See, this is the difference, right? This guy and the Island Boys both want the same thing. They want to be famous. That's all they want. The Island Boys are doing it in a harmless, productive, positive way. They're going and they're singing and they're talking about wanting to be famous and wearing bulletproof vests and sitting in their pool in Florida. This guy is instead putting Subway fixins on a toilet seat and grossing people out. I think the Island Boys are a much better role model, and that's why I have no ill will towards the Island Boys being as famous as one could possibly be. This is not as good.
I don't know how I got to this point in my life.
All right, so
He said, okay, so he's saying, I don't know how I got to this point in my life. Maybe he's going through it. Maybe he's got some mental stuff going on. Maybe we have to have a conversation with him about mental health. Because, I mean, clearly something's off. And why is he in that Subway alone so much? Where are the customers? Where are his coworkers?
Basically got to steal these drinks because I put my mouth on them.
Oh, my God. He's
So-
drinking all the drinks.
Put my mouth on these 4 Gatorades, which you'll be able to see.
Well, okay. It's gross that he was drinking the Gatorades, I guess, but if he was then saying, well, now I have to steal them, I'm not going to be mad at him for stealing them. I'd rather him steal the Gatorades than drink out of them and then leave them there for me to get. Also, who's not going to notice? Who's going to sit there and not notice that the Gatorade's open and has a drink taken out of it? Come on. I don't think that's a risk.
Subway.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, he's throwing the bread on the floor. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. That's a lot of bread.
Subway, straight up. Subway.
Fuck Subway.
You hear me? I'm done with all this.
Okay. Yeah, there may be some mental stuff going on here.
Uh-oh, look.
That's the stuff he walked on.
Buffalo chicken, goodbye. Goodbye. Look at the
Yeah.
Look at the cheese. All this shit, you hear me? I don't give a fuck. None of this shit, bro.
He doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, there's something deeper going on there than just a guy who doesn't like Subway. You know? Especially because at one point in one of the videos, he was asking Meek Mill to get at him, saying that he's... So, I mean, he ended up putting in his 2-week notice at Subway. I'm surprised that they were like, okay, 2 weeks sounds good. Like, we saw something disturbing on your social media, but yeah, 2 weeks is 2 weeks. Look, I don't know, man. When it comes to Subway, a big part of me, it's going to be, with all the story, it's going to be really tough to shock me about the way food is handled at a Subway. Like, the idea that one of the employees, like, walked on your meat before he put it in your sandwich, I wouldn't sit there and go, not this meat. No. At a Subway? You got to be kidding me. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of the deal that you make when you go to Subway. There are many Subway restaurants that are at gas stations. You know? Like, it's like... Subway is not that different from, like, buying food at a 7-Eleven. Like, there's almost this thing when you go, like, hey, this isn't as good as it could be. You almost go, like, are you really going to sit here and complain about food in this place? There are other sandwich shops you can go to for a high-quality sandwich, but I don't know, man. I saw this... And I said, not the greatest thing in the world to do. Not the best thing. I'm not happy about it. But was I shocked? Shocking? I can't tell you it was shocking. I can't tell you I would sit there and go, like, I would never expect for this to happen. That's ridiculous. Number one, think that, as I said, this young man probably has more issues than just Subway. And number two, probably not the only time this has happened at a Subway. Like, when those articles come out and they're like, hey, all the food at Subway is fake. That's what these articles say. I don't know if they're true or not, but they go, yeah, the bread doesn't qualify as bread. The ingredients that are in the loaves that they give you are not the ingredients that make bread. So that's not bread. The tuna's not tuna. The chicken's not chicken. The tomatoes aren't tomatoes. Whatever they're saying, I'm like, yeah, okay, you know? Any place that I go to for a BLT and they nuke it before they give it to me, it's like, you know, I know what I'm getting. I've made the deal going in. I've spun the wheel and I've made the deal. Speaking of making the deal, there's only one rule here on Sam Roberts Now. Every super chat gets read. Every super chat on Sam Roberts Now gets read. So if you want to contribute to the show, go ahead and contribute to the show, and we'll read your super chats. Ellie Muno said, where did you get that hot dog shirt? It's fire. Yeah, see? Little hot dogs right there. And you'll notice that I wore the hot dog shirt. And has Hot Dog ever worn his Not Sam jacket? No, not even once. Couldn't even bother to show up tonight. Doesn't even wear the Not Sam jacket. Dana Quigley, definitely need a Sammy breakdown of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Hashtag Hanks very much. That might be what we do for next week. You know, we're getting real close to Halloween season. It's getting very, very scary all of a sudden. Maybe next week we do Nightmare on Elm Street. We do Freddy. It's a lot of movies, a lot of history, and it gets pretty weird. But it is one of the few that has a fairly consistent timeline. Like, you don't have to sit there and jump around and try to explain things away in terms of the timeline. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that you have to explain away, but it actually, as you go through, makes sense. And New Nightmare is the predecessor to Scream. You know, the kind of self-aware horror movie. New Nightmare doesn't get enough credit for that. New Nightmare is good. Capone 609, here's a couple of bucks in case you don't re-sign. Yeah, bro. If there was ever a time to support Sam Roberts Now, I think now would be a good time. We'll see how it goes. Christopher Cavey, I did yours. Thank you, buddy. Not Sam Lehman. Sammy, thank you. JD Straight Shot, looks like that laundry case was ... hampered. Can you believe it? Dog the Bounty Hunter did not find Brian laundry. Shocking, I know. It's almost like he found something that he could attach himself to where people wouldn't bring up his voicemails. Yeah, hampered indeed. Ryan Katsu Rivera says, did you hear what the news is saying about the bird, which is the bald eagle? I don't know what that means, to tell you the truth. I'm going to see if a quick Google will inform me of your reference. But no, I can't tell you. I mean, a bunch of stories about Adele comes up when I put in bald eagle. Traverse City Raptor Center invites the public to witness the release of a bald eagle. No, I don't know. Don't know what you're talking about. All right, guys. I appreciate you all hanging out tonight. I hope you have a good one. Remember, one thing that we live by here on Sam Roberts Now. I'll cheers with you later. And you better believe I will. We'll see you soon. Subscribe to the channel. Hit like. Get those likes up. Get those subscriptions up. Oh, and the new Sopranos, I guess, watch along. We're not doing it episode by episode, but we'll have a brand new premiere called The Sopranos Prima Volta. Yours truly, Ian Fidance. Ian Fidance watching The Sopranos for the first time. We break down the entire first season of The Sopranos, and it's so fun to do it with somebody like Ian, who has no spoilers, hasn't seen it. It's great. He's obsessed with it now, and that video will be up this week here on the Not Sam YouTube channel, so be on the lookout for it. Turn your alerts on. I'll cheers with you later. Have a good night, everybody.